Okay, let's begin. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me formally welcome you to this program, Politics Hour, Meet the Aspirants, where the program brought to you by both Problem and in conjunction with Diaspora Digital Media, where we get to meet candidates and talk to them about their political aspirations, especially with the fact that we have the upcoming 2027 elections, which are not so far away. And you may have noticed we have a lot of political activities that have been going on. So we know that politicians are aligning. Those who want to contest are already beginning to gear up. And that's why we're having this program, because we know we have candidates, even within our fold in Cobram, who want to run for political office. And today we're going to be having an aspirant who is going to be running for this position of House of Representatives in from Kwara State. His name is Mr. ADENIYI Olúwaṣeun Oyeniyi. He's running for a seat of the House of Representatives for Irepodun, Isin, Ekiti, Oke-ero Federal Constituency. I hope I got that right, Mr. Oyeniyi, because I know you'll be laughing somewhere. All right, so Mr. Oyeniyi, you're welcome, sir. I can't hear you. What is going on? Suddenly can't hear you anymore. Oh, I think your audio is having issues. Please put on your audio. Put it on. Can you speak now?
Okay, it's on now.
I still can't hear you. Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. So you are welcome, Mr. Oyeniyi.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. Combatant greetings and salutations to all my supporters, friends,
All right,
and students.
all right. So let's quickly dive into our business for today. Let's look at your personal background. Let's talk about you. Can you share a brief background about yourself and what inspired you to run for office? Tell us about your education, your background, a little bio about you. Let the people know exactly who Mr. Oyeniyi is.
My name Oyeniyi ADENIYI OLUWASEUN OYENIYI. I hail from Ajashe was to Irepodun local government of Kwara State. I was born in Kwara State. So I started my early education in Federal Polytechnic Staff Secondary School, in Staff Nursery Primary School, where I did my primary school. I then went further to have my secondary education at the Federal Polytechnic International Secondary School, Okra. I graduated in 2021, in which I bagged a B in software geoinformatics, and currently I am running my master's in technology in the same profession. And I am a public surveyor. I was once a classroom teacher and a farmer, and I'm also a field practicing surveyor.
All right. What inspired you to go into politics?
Actually, what inspired me to venture into politics is service to humanity. It was what inspired me, and my political aspiration dated back from the universities during my university days. During my university days, I participated in a lot of student struggle. Take for instance, now during my graduate level, I had the privilege of contesting for the office of the General Secretary, Nigerian Institution of Sovereign and Geoinformatics Students Fulfillment Chapter. After that, I went further to contest for the office of the Environmental Student Representative Council to represent my constituency, which is my department. So, And in the House, I serve as the chairman for academic committee. And then I also proceeded to the national headquarters of my students' association, which is the Nigerian Institution of Surveying and Geoinformatics Students, not Central School, where I was privileged to be the Secretary General. Then also in my community, which is the Domain of National Students, the Domain of National Students Union, I once served as the National Vice President at the National Headquarters for 2 consecutive tenures. And I also serve as various committees. We've organized different programs, different economic elevation, poverty elevation program for the people. So these are one of the things that drive me in picking up the aspiration to contest for a public service. Thank you, sir.
All right, so let's look at what you are doing now, and let me ask you this: why do you want to represent your constituency in the House of?
Yeah,
what exactly? I know you said it. What have you seen? What's driving it?
Okay, I believe I have the requisite experience when it comes to leadership. And also looking at my academic background, just like I said the other time, that I have a BTech in surveying and geoinformatics. And currently I am running my master's degree program, my master's degree program in the same discipline and field. So there are lots of experience I have. So currently I'm working on a thesis project which centers on flood prediction, which is going to add, if you look at flooding is an environment that is a recurring problem. So I'm trying to use my education to solve that kind of problem. And also in terms of land, in terms of real estate, in terms of agriculture, land banking, and the rest, I have a lot of knowledge regarding that. And I believe that where I believe from the federal constituency in which I am coming from is a rural area which with vast land. They have a lot of land in which we can easily use to farm, we can farm. And also, I want to empower the youth because I am also a youth. I am a youth, and I believe that if they can have a youth like me in the House of Representatives, it will be easy for me to facilitate a lot of projects that will be youth friendly.
All right, so are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so let's look at your values. Let's look at the values and principles that guide you as a person and someone coming into politics and for the House of Rep. What are your main guiding principles in life? What are your values? Those things you stand for.
Okay, I stand for integrity, in which I have demonstrated in time past, even during my leadership. Even when I was in the leadership position, integrity, equity, fairness, and justice. I stand for equity. I'm not someone who is nepotistic or tribalistic. I am someone who carries everyone along, and I believe in truth, in the truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay, is that but that's what has guided you throughout life till now, even in your days in school, like you said?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's you want to say something?
Yes, I said I also mentioned something hard work, so that I also believe in hard work.
All right, let's look at let's look at some other issues. Sorry, let me. How has your past leadership experience prepared you for this role? Can you expatiate more on it? I know you talked about you said something about your activism in school and this. Can you tell us any other thing about your past leadership or some things you may have done? How has it prepared you for this particular role?
Thank you, sir. During my time, when I served as the General Secretary at my departmental level, that is the Nigerian Institution of Sovereign and Geoinformatics Students, I had vast experience in terms of negotiation because my departmental students association is not just limited within the school. We have to meet stakeholders outside, such as the Surveillance Network, the Nigerian Institution of Surveillance, and with this, I was able to meet with leaders in the profession who were able to facilitate projects just like instruments, training in terms of software, and the rest. Now, aside from my leadership role in the school, when I was elected as the national vice president as the Dominant National Student Union, I did a lot of initiatives and projects, and one of them was an empowerment program we did. The empowerment program, we were able to negotiate with one of our leaders in the states, and he was able to support us, he financed us, and we were able to raise money to the tune of millions. And this money, we used this money to empower our people. And the way we structured the empowerment, we had to interview people one-on-one to be sure that, okay, what you are requesting for is what you need. So that at the end of the day, we are going to be putting a round peg in a round, and not just putting a round peg in a square hole. So that's what I can say. Then also, when I served as the Secretary General for the Nigerian Institution of Sovereign and Geoinformatics Students for the North Central Zone, we were able to organize so many programs. I was able to meet with different students in different schools within the zone. We were able to have a good and cordial relationship with them. We were able to meet with their lecturers, and there were times we were able to also fight for their rights, because being a representative is not just going there to talk or to just mention the city. It's for you to roll your sleeve and actually get into work. I have been in this struggle since time past, and I believe that I can also take this further by coming out to serve my constituency.
Okay, let's look at the other people who have taken this role. The other people who also run for this role. Other candidates. What differentiates you from these candidates or contesting for this position? What makes you unique?
I value the value I stand based on the principle of integrity, equity, justice, and fairness. That's the first. Secondly, I am a youth. I'm in my 20s, I'm in my 20s. So I believe I'm young, and I understand the Gen Z, this Gen Z stuff. I understand it very well. I understand the youth. I understand what we need. So it will be very easy for me to promulgate views that is going to help them. Then also my academic background too is also a lot. Based on my research interest and my research area, it will be very easy for me to actually work with a lot of intellectuals and elites in bringing development into the constituency. And also my exposure. I have been to different parts of Nigeria, so I understand how things are being done in different parts of the world. So it will be very easy for me when I get into the House of Representatives to be able to roll with every other person. I will be able to negotiate irrespective of the tribes of the people I mistake. I will be able to negotiate with them, because politics is all about negotiation, depending on how you can negotiate with them. Because whether I like it or not, my party is not going to be the only party. I'm going to meet with people of different political parties. So
we'll get to that part. Yeah, so we'll get to that part on some things that may be happening in the National Assembly. But let's look at your constituency. we believe that as a candidate, you must have looked at your constituency, the way things are there. Maybe you must have seen some challenges that they are facing. Can you mention the biggest challenges facing your constituency, and also tell us how you plan to address them as a lawmaker in lower chamber?
Okay, thank you very much. One of the greatest challenges we have in my constituency is in terms of security. This this farmer and elders clash is one of the major problems in my constituency. And up to be, because we see this elder coming into farms, killing people and all that. But one of the ways in which I plan to tackle this challenge is by promulgating the traditional land rights protection and dispute resolution bill. So I plan to promote this bill. So with this, the community will be able to monitor the land, and also they will be able to give land to people. And aside that one, in terms of land, many people are not really benefiting. We have vast land in my constituency, and the poverty in my constituency is very much despite the fact that we have large land. So another thing I want to do is to make sure that there is adequate security. There is adequate security in the land. Because I believe that if there is adequate security in the constituency, people will be able to people will be able to go to farm, people will be able to farm, and by the time they farm, it's going to boost the economy of that particular constituency.
Okay, let's look at your constituents. Most people believe that there should be this special relationship between their constituents and their lawmakers. How will you ensure that the voices and concerns of your constituents are represented in the National Assembly? Give us an overview of what it will look like.
Yeah, for me to represent my constituency and for me to make sure that their voice is being heard very well. There's no way I can do it if I don't have a good and quality relationship with them. So one of the ways I plan to foster a very good relationship with my constituency is having town hall meeting regular town hall meeting. I plan to have town hall meetings with my constituents at least once in a month. Once in a month, I will be coming down from Abuja to my constituency to have a meeting with them. So this meeting will help me to know their challenges because I'm also human. I can't know it all. And as a leader, sometimes you need to get feedback from your people for you to know how to tackle their challenges. So these are one of the ways in which I plan to tackle the challenges. In which I plan to tackle the challenges in my constituency and making their voice to be heard at the national level. Then secondly, to have been around people, have worked around people because I am an original homeboy. I grew up in Kwara State. So I've been to various parts of the state. So it's much easier for me to at least know some of the things they are passing through. Then also we'll be meeting with our elders, we'll be meeting with our mothers, and also we are going to be meeting with our youth because I believe that each of these groups they have different problems that is peculiar to them. So we are going to be bringing initiatives that we are going to be using to solve all these problems.
All right, all right. In order to better the life of these your constituents, we expect one of the KPIs normally used to measure a lawmaker is the number of bills and motions they've introduced in the lawmaking chamber that have directly impacted on the people's lives, right? Those that are their constituents. So I want to ask you this: what specific policies or bills, what specific bills do you intend to propose that will directly benefit your constituency?
And some of the bills I'm planning to propose is not just going to benefit my constituency, but most times it is also going to benefit the nation at large. And one of it is smart agriculture and water resource management bill. smart agriculture and water resource management bill. And the goal of this bill is to enhance agricultural productivity and reduce the water-related risk. Just like I said, I'm working on my thesis work, which centers on optimizing flood prediction using machine learning and data integration techniques. So it will be with this, it's much easier for me to predict when flood is going to be happening and also gather related data concerning this. So with this, it will be very easy for us to promote water efficient water irrigation system, and also we'll be able to fund the development of the flood advisory app, which is going to help the constituents, and also for us to create a smart dam and reservoir that will respond to the water flow. Because when we at Kwara State, flooding is one of the major issues here in Kwara State, which has displaced a lot of people, which has caused a lot of damage to properties, people, and the rest.
All right. All right. It's also believed that as a lawmaker, you definitely have access to be able to get funding or funds to your constituency. You even have access to constituency project fund. So how are you going to really attract projects and investment to your constituency as a lawmaker? Because you're going to be anticipating more development for the constituent based on the fact that you are there and you promise them things like this. How are you going to attract this? How are you going to bring projects and investments to your constituency? And what particular projects do you intend to bring in, for instance, that will really impact the grid?
And before bringing in any projects, one of the first things I plan to do, if I can imagine the lawmaker, is reorientation and re-engineering of the mindset of the youth. Because it's much easier for us to do so many things. We can build bridges, roads, and the rest. But if our people are not educated, it will be very hard for them to manage all these things. Okay, take for instance, one of the projects I plan to do for my constituency is the Youth in Tech and Innovation Hub. This is one of my plans, and the goal is to equip and train youths in the rural areas. Just like I said, that my constituency is in the rural area of Kwara State in terms of digital and green economy. So that's one of my major goals. And also in terms of attracting, then also in terms of agricultural inputs, because many of us are farmers. In my case, many of us are farmers. So, and sometimes all these people, they need agricultural inputs, such as fertilizers, tractors, and heads for it to boost their economic production. So I am going to negotiate with other lawmakers. I am going to negotiate with people at the executive council to see how we can get funding to finance all these things. So I have so many laws, I have so many bills in which I write down in my notepad. But if I want to start sharing all these bills, it's going to take time, and we might not end this meeting. It might just be on bills. So I am going to, as time goes on, I will keep sharing with my community, which is the school. I will still share a lot of things as time goes on. But let me just leave it here. I have the smart agricultural and water resource management view, and also the youth in tech and innovation hub. These are the two distinct projects I plan to do based on my knowledge, based on my educational exposure, and also based on my
All right. Unemployment, you've talked about securities of unemployment, poverty, and youth restiveness. And one of the pains in the society today.
Yes,
our government has been trying, but they don't seem to be having any headway. What do you think you as a lawmaker have to and to improve the situation?
Yeah.
In your constituency?
Okay, when it comes to youth unemployment, I believe one of the things I can do in order to alleviate this problem is for us to empower the youth, just like I said just like I mentioned earlier. The youth needs a lot of empowerment. We need to empower them. They need empowerment, and it's not just in terms of funding. They need empowerment in terms of funding, and also they need empowerment in terms of knowledge. So for me to do this, for me to achieve this, I plan to bring experts who are going to train them in different vocational fields. In terms of agriculture, there are people who have interest in agriculture. There are people who have interest in tech. There are also people who have interest in all this handwork. We are going to get experts for them that is going to train them on all these areas. So by the time we get experts to train them, it's not just like we are giving them fish, but we're also teaching them how to fish. With all these projects, with all these initiatives, it will be very easy for them to now start creating jobs. So it's not just be about this and looking for jobs. It's not about our own youth creating jobs for other people. And with this, we are also going to see different people coming from different parts of Nigeria to come and settle down in the constituency. To come and settle down in the constituency, in my constituency, they want to stay there because they are going to have a lot of jobs, because there will be jobs, and youth will have something to do with their things. Thank you.
All right. Let's go back to bipartisanship. For your bills to go through in the assembly, in the assembly, National Assembly, it may go through some bottlenecks. You also have colleagues at the other side of the divide that may want to oppose your bills or may not want to just let it go through. How are you going to handle bipartisanship so that your bills can go through? What are you going to do in case there's this resistance towards your bills and your motions, the same bills that you want to better your constituency? If you have someone opposing such bills, what are you going to do to make sure that it goes through? Especially when you have people at the other side or colleagues who may not want something like that, who don't want your bills or your motions to go through. What are you going to do?
The first thing I believe when it comes to politics, all politics is local. So one of the first things to do is to make sure there is building relationships with members of different political parties. Building relationship with them, negotiating with them. Sometimes all these things are about negotiation. How can you negotiate with people at the other side of the divide? So if you can negotiate well with them, it's all about, okay, give to me, I give to you. Okay, help me, let this bill go through. Okay, I'm proposing this bill. This is how it's going to help the nation. That's why I'm not just going there to promulgate only constituency-based bill. I'm also going to promulgate bills that are also going to help the nation at large. So when I can talk to them, let them still listen to it and everything. And also, there are always like minds in the National Assembly. It's not necessarily that they must be in your party, but there will always be people who also buy into your own ideology. And there are also many people who think like you. That's only if you think straight. There are people who think like you. So it's just for me to identify all these like minds and see how we can rub minds together, and with that, you can achieve the majority. We can always have the majority of the people supporting you. Thank you.
All right. Let's look at accountability. The populace always wants the person who is serving them at the end of affairs. Like even you yourself, for instance, who is going to campaign, they want somebody who is accountable, who is transparent, and who is fair, who does not want to just go there to steal or anything. How do you plan to uphold those democratic principles of accountability? How accountable will you be so as to endear, make people have confidence in you and say, okay, this is the kind of person we have, so that will have their mind will be completely at rest. How are you going to handle accountability in the office?
Thank you. Well, accountability can't be a big deal because, just like I said, I am an original boy. I am not an aware-based politician, and I am not just being a.
Before you go further, let me quickly add. Before you go further, let me add this: are you among those who, in the school of thought, who feel that it is so expensive running this particular government, to looking at their fat packages, fat salaries, especially the lawmakers? I also among those who will say, okay, let's cut on the cost of governance, let's reduce their salaries of the lawmakers. What do you think about that? So as we talk about the first one I talked about.
When it comes to the salary of, when it comes to this cost of governance and the rest, I'm of the school of thought that we should reduce the cost of governance, because the reason why we are there is because of the people, and the people have to feel our impact. They have to feel our impact, and this is one of the things I learned from my principal, Mr. Adobe. When he was the governor of Anambra State, there are a lot of things he did to cut governance costs. So I'm of the school of thought that we can always cut governance costs. We don't need to spend excessively on governance, and so that we can always use this money to finance other projects which can benefit our people.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at your reports. Will you be willing to publish reports of what you are doing as an aspirant, financial reports? Let your constituents know that, look, see the monies that have come up on this project, so to aspirant. Will you be willing to do that and publish it openly for the public, for them to see?
Yes, I am going to. I'm going to do it. I'm going to. In fact, aside from the finances in which I'm spending to execute projects and the rest, every other thing I'm doing, since I'm representing people, the people need to know politics. They need to know everything I'm doing, because it's for the benefit. And also, there is no one who is wise enough to see the back of his head. So I believe, if there is any way in which I'm going wrong, my constituency and my constituents can always call me to order. And if they say there is anything, if they say that, okay, we think this is what you are supposed to do, you are not doing this, do it like this, we can always receive, we always receive feedback from them, and also we will also receive constructive criticism.
All right. You are a member of COPDEM, and you know we have our guiding principles. Yes. Principles, which is good governance, rule of law, transparency. Yeah. How do you plan to uphold these principles in the National Assembly? And are we sure that in the face of political pressure, you will remain committed to these principles? Are we sure that when they begin to share money in the National Assembly, or when a particular clique begins to say, let's do this or let's do this, begin to act with them instead of looking at the what's really on ground in the polity? You can see what's going on in the National Assembly, whereby a lot of things happen in the country. The National Assembly doesn't even talk about killings. They don't talk about anything. They are just acting as if they are a complete lame duck National Assembly. Insensitive, people are being slaughtered, they are quiet. They don't even talk. Are we sure that you are not just going to be the same kind of person who will just join them to just ignore what's going on in the polity and just become a money bag?
Okay, well, since I'm not in the ruling party, and since my people are the one that is trying to put me there, it's also necessary for me to and also, I'm not just going there as a result of my own party. I'm first representing COPDEM. So anything I'm going to be doing in the National Assembly, COPDEM is going to be in my mind that, okay, COPDEM is the one sending me there. I'm going there to represent them. And them have what they stand for. So that's going to be that's one of the things that is going to be the backbone and my guiding principles. I'm going to be trying to uphold all these democratic principles towards Ekiti because I've actually done it in the past. There are times I've been under pressure to do a particular thing and not like to see. This is my principle and this is what I stand for.
All right, let's went down and look at towards the end. I'm going to this is actually my last question, but it's going to be like me telling you to give a pitch to your constituents. You are going to talk to them, look at the camera, and do as if you are talking to them directly. In fact, you are talking to them directly because some of them are watching you right now. Let them know you are, and tell them why they should vote for you and the things you want to do. You're like just pitching yourself to your constituents and presenting yourself to them and say, this is me, this is what I want to do. Quickly before we round up.
With my fellow constituents, I'm by name ADENIYI OLUWASEUN. I am your son, I am your brother, and I am your friend. And as you all know, I am an original homeboy. I am based in Kwara State and I have been around for long. And as you all know, I stand based on the principle of equity, fairness, and justice, which is one of the backbone of which is one of my guiding principles. And I also promise you that by the time I get to the National Assembly, I promise to uphold your interests. I am going to promulgate bills that is going to address the problems we are facing in our constituency. And as you all know, everyone knows my house. You all know my family house in the village. So in case I'm doing anything wrong, you can always come for me. You can always come for me. I'm with you and I will always be with you. And I promise that all these problems we are having in our constituency will be addressed by God's grace. Thank you. And God bless you.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Mr. ADENIYI OLUWASEUN Oyeniyi. He's running for the position of House of Representatives in the Oke-ero constituency in Kwara State. He's been talking about his political aspirations and what he intends to do if elected as a member of the next session of the lower chamber, the House of Representatives. We're talking about his personal himself, his ambitions, what he intends to once he gets there, the problem in his constituency, and was able to he has been able to pitch himself to you. So I leave it to you to vet and look at what he has for you. But Mr. ADENIYI, you are let me thank you for coming to this program. We hope soon, once again, maybe later in the future, we'll also get to hear from you, more from you, right? Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. And for me, Kevin Dapo, it's goodbye, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.